All right, no Craig Rivet. Marty Buron is here and now joined with Maddy Glab, the new multimedia reporter with the Buffalo Bills and Buffalo Sabres. Welcome to Buffalo.
Hello, hello. Happy to be here.
Hailing from Chicago.
Yeah.
Yep, born and raised.
Born and raised, and you
Yes.
were at the University of Tennessee.
Yep, that's where I spent the last 4 years. I graduated from the University of Missouri, was in their journalism school.
Okay.
So
Okay.
spent some time in the SEC.
I'm not
No
a
hockey
college.
there.
I'm not a college football or college basketball guy. You could have said SEC, ACC, Big
It's all
Big
the
East,
same.
Big Ten, whatever. I wouldn't have known the difference. So I hope that was the correct conference.
Yeah, what conference are they in?
Southeastern Conference,
So that would be the SEC.
the SEC.
Yeah, that makes sense. No hockey there at University of Tennessee. Do they have a
No.
club team or anything?
They did not even have a club team.
No.
Really? With
Yeah.
the Nashville Predators and everything? No?
Not
All
at
right.
Tennessee.
Who's best football player to come through University of Tennessee? Is it Peyton Manning?
I would have to say Peyton Manning.
He's the only one I knew.
He's a great one. He comes back to Tennessee quite a bit.
Does he?
Yeah.
You ever go to Graceland? No? All right. So you're from Chicago, Hawks fan.
Yep.
So how did you end up coming here? And well, first of all, how did you end up, I guess, finding out about the job and then wanting to move from you went from Chicago, you ended up in Tennessee, but then to Buffalo?
Yeah, so I haven't been home since I was 18. Moved for college and then stayed on the road. My first job was at Stanford University in California. So I went from Missouri to California to Tennessee, now to Buffalo. So spending the last 4 years in the SEC working for a big football school, a big sports school in general, my goal was to move to the professional ranks at some point. So after 4 years, I thought it was a good time to move on. And I saw this Buffalo job open, and I thought, what a great place to work in. It would be awesome to work in football and hockey at the same time. I applied, got an interview, and won the job over.
What do you like best, football or hockey?
Whew, I think maybe hockey's going to be a new favorite. We'll see. I grew
A
up
new
watching
favorite, okay.
Grew up watching the Blackhawks, so I got to see all those Stanley Cup wins, which was amazing.
See, if we said grew up watching the Blackhawks, for us it would have been like Dirk Graham and Jeremy Roenick and all of that. For you, it's Jonathan Toews,
Murray
Patrick Kane.
Craven.
Kaner.
Yeah, I mean, do you remember Dirk Graham?
Of course I
The
remember Dirk
mustache,
Graham, yeah.
the little Jofa
Yeah.
helmet. So he was pretty good at Hawks. But so you got to see them in their prime,
I did.
winning. What was it? Three cups
Three.
in what, 6 years,
3
basically?
and 6.
Yeah. So
10, 13, 15.
yeah, so that was pretty special. And
What
then
have
the
you done?
Cubs, and then the Cubs finally
Oh,
winning a World
my.
Series.
Yeah, that was big.
Were you a Cubbies fans or White Sox?
I bleed Cubby Blue.
Okay.
Did you work at all in hockey? Did you work with the Hawks when you were living in Chicago?
No,
you
nope,
didn't?
because I was there through my senior year in high school, and then I was gone.
Okay. All right. Have you done anything fun since you got to Buffalo?
Ooh, I went to the Taste of Buffalo 2 weekends ago, went to the Italian Festival this past weekend, so got to check out a few spots
Anything
downtown.
food, right?
Yeah, I love food, so
Anything
Wings? Have
food.
you gone for wings yet?
yes, I've tried Anchor Bar.
The original wing.
The
You know, I met Wayne
original.
Gretzky there back in the day when I was just a little kid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Wayne Gretzky came on this very show because of Andrew Peters, so
Wow.
it's a pretty good get.
Yeah, he did not remember that meeting me though when I was at the Anchor Bar. Well, it's true. I mean, how the hell is he going to remember
do
a
you-
guy? He's met so many kids.
I thought the follow-up question was going to be, how do you like your wings? Hot, medium, mild, some...
I'll do medium with
Okay.
blue cheese.
Okay, yeah, none of that ranch
Kinda
stuff.
man-
None of that
Mandatory
ranch
around here, I
stuff.
would imagine.
Gotta say blue cheese.
Okay.
Were you an athlete?
I grew up playing softball and basketball, played softball through high school. Unfortunately, didn't play in college. Had quite a few injuries playing the game, and so one of those injuries
Quite a few
kept
injuries
me
playing
out of the
softball.
game
Let's hear.
in
Let's hear him. What
college.
kind of an
All
injury
right.
resume? We have a
look
guy
at
who's
that
absent
picture.
right now.
Ooh,
That's you with the...
young Maddy Glab.
Yeah, that's like a Chicago Cubs...
Yeah,
jersey.
that was in-house league when you got to be different MLB teams.
That was
Yeah.
back when Sammy Sosa was hitting 70 something.
My dog is named Sammy Sosa.
Your dog is named
Rest
Sammy.
in
Both
peace,
names.
my
Both,
old
not
dog.
Sammy or Sosa. Sammy Sosa.
She was Sammy Sosa.
Okay.
She has since passed. We started to call her Sammy after Sammy Sosa.
So you mentioned injuries.
the
Now
best.
I'm intrigued.
Okay.
What were the injuries?
So
Whoa, whoa.
So you
There-
took one in
there
the
you go.
face.
So that's a.
that was the big injury, a nasty black eye right there. So what happened was I was playing center field. I was in 8th grade, shallow center. and I took a ball off the glove to the face.
Oh.
So I missed the line drive. Pretty mad at myself for doing so. I ended up breaking an orbital bone, 2 other bones, so I had surgery. Had to get my eye sewn shut for 2 weeks, and right now I have a plastic plate below my eye. I have a titanium plate and 4 screws to the side of my eye.
Did you guys give up any runs when you missed that catch?
I don't think we gave up a run. I think we
Did
got
you
a
stay
run
down?
in scoring
Did
position.
Did you stay down or did you get up?
Oh, I got up. I ran and got the ball. I threw it back in, but when the ball hit off my face, it like rolled to second base. So.
Oh, so it bounced right back out. Yeah, that's not good.
And then I tried to stay in the game until my nose wouldn't stop bleeding, and the coach had to call timeout and make me come sit on the
I
bench.
guess the broken orbital bone did not have a much
Hey, we
of
have a guest
factor in
coming on
that.
the show tomorrow. I broke his orbital bone.
Brian, yeah, Brian McGrattan
I actually
coming
did.
in.
Brian McGrattan's going to join the
I
show.
remember that game too.
You like fighting in hockey?
Oh yeah, I'm a fan.
Of fighting in hockey? There's not much fighting anymore. But
Right.
don't you think it's kind of barbaric and kind of stupid to see 2 grown men fighting for no reason?
I think it adds to the intensity of the game.
He's just
There is
trying-
no
he's just-
intensity to the
He's
game.
just trying. Listen, if Rivs was here right now, they gang up on me with this old fighting thing. I think it's.
Are you a fan?
I like
Marty's a
fighting,
heavyweight.
but I don't like.
Have you ever seen Marty's fight?
I
got
need
in
to
one
look this
fight.
up on
I
YouTube.
got in
Notice
one
I didn't
fight.
pluralize it. I said, have you ever seen Marty's fight?
Okay, listen. I am a fan of if Vinny LeCavalier and Jerome McGinley in the Stanley Cup Finals are mad at one another and they cross-check each other, drop the gloves, go ahead and fight. I'm not a fan of I give you a big check, legal check, and then somebody comes in dropping the gloves because, hey, I got to respond because you
Yeah.
hit my star player legally, should I add? So, no, I'm not a big fan of that. I'm like, part of the game is part of the game. So, and I don't like the stage fighting, but
She
you know.
is, what's your Twitter? At Mad
At Mad
Glab.
Glab.
At Mad
Mad
Glab
Glab.
on Twitter. She is the new multimedia journalist, Maddy Glab, and she's joining us from the University of Tennessee, where she's been the last 4 years. You'll see her with the Bills and Sabres during games and intermissions and stuff like that.
Yes, yep.
Speaking of angry, yesterday we did a pet peeve type thing. You're on social media. Marty sent out a tweet. We're talking pet peeves. Do you have any pet peeves?
Yeah, I have a couple.
Well, let's talk about it because Marty wanted to talk about it later in the show. So let's do it right now. Speaking
Well,
of
we'll get to
fighting,
know
because
you a
pet
little bit
peeves,
better,
pet
so,
peeves
yeah.
can lead to fights. I know that.
They can.
Yeah.
People knuckle up over them.
Sometimes people will
Okay.
go a little too far, I imagine. But so what? Like, give us an example. Like for me, a pet peeve yesterday. You know, people that don't just small one. Don't code their produce or vegetables at the grocery store.
Yeah.
I got an amazing amount of responses yesterday on whether the people did or didn't do that. By
I
the
love
way.
that some people, because I think I'm weird, some people do what I do. They code everything but the bananas. And then somebody responded, Marty, you don't eat the banana peel. It doesn't matter if you stick a sticker on them, but it's weird
Yeah.
for me to code the bananas, like everything but the bananas. Anyway.
So pet peeves. Let's hear a couple.
All right, I'll give you 2. One of them is if you're in the left lane on the highway and you are driving slow.
Well, what's
Okay, what is
slow?
slow?
What's
Yeah.
slow? Like if the speed limit is 65 on the throughway and you're in the left lane, is 65 slow? Because 67 slow. You
I'll
got a heavy
say
foot?
speed limit or 5 under.
Okay, so if you're going 60 or 65 in the left lane, what if, and this is a little bit of a pet peeve of mine, kind of the same way, and people on Twitter have mentioned that, people that stay in the left lane. So they pass a car, maybe they're going 70, 72, but they stay in the left lane. I'm coming behind them, rolling in at like 78, 79, and there's nobody in the right side, and they don't merge back to the right lane after they pass. They stay in the left lane. Even though you're going 70 miles an hour.
And they do it on purpose.
You should go back to the right lane because I'm coming in going 75, and then I have to go right, and then maybe you don't see me, and then it's dangerous. So, yeah, that's in
Do
the
you-
same.
Do you drive right up to their bumpers and lay on the horn? Do you flick the beams, the high beams at them? What do you do? There's many different ways to get people's attention to get them to move over. I can give you a few.
I usually tail them a little bit, not too badly.
You
but,
gotta bump them. That'll
Gotta
get them
bump
over.
'em?
Hey,
Yes.
bumping is
Lay-
racing.
lay on the
Rubbing's
horn.
racing.
Rubbing is
Yeah.
racing. So, what's another one?
Another one is when I'm at the gym and I'm getting on the squat rack to squat or bench and somebody leaves their weights on the rack.
That's neither one of us.
drives me
We can tell you
crazy.
that.
I just do the bar, so that's that. I don't have to worry about that.
So gym heroes.
Gym
They're
guy,
called
gym
gym heroes.
Are they gym heroes?
Gym
if you
guys.
leave your,
Inconsiderate gym heroes.
I mean, if you leave your weight on the rack, I mean, it could be like a 20-pound, weight on either side. That's not
Take
a
it
gym
off.
hero. I get that. But most people that do that, and one of my biggest pet peeve at the gym is the guys that wear the cut-off gloves.
The
So they
Alcoholics.
really, Alcoholic. We played with a guy. His name was Alcoholic. He would go in and do bicep curls with his cut-off
Make
like,
noises and
gloves.
everything?
Oh, and have the headband on, and it was like 1985, and so gym guy that has the gloves with the cut-off fingers and leaves the weight on the equipment, absolutely a big pet peeve of mine.
So how about the people that block the driveway when they're stopped on a road and you're trying to pull out of, let's say, I don't know, a gas station, or even for you, Marty, a McDonald's. I mean, you're pulling out and they block. You're going left, right? And all you got to do is just kind of scoot into the lane. And what do? They just block the driveway. They block you learn that in driving school.
Yes. How about this? Today's a beautiful day. You're lucky. The last few weeks have been beautiful in Buffalo, so this is great. So I stopped at our favorite little Tim Hortons in Orchard Park there, Petey, and it was really busy. So there's not a lot of parking spot at this little gas station, Tim Hortons. So people are pulling up to the door and parking there, and then there's 12 people inside waiting in line, and it's just causing a big commotion when all you have to do is go 30 feet further, and there's all these empty parking spots. That drives me nuts because it's beautiful. If it's raining, snowing, if you're an older person that maybe cannot, or don't want to walk, I totally get that. But when you watch it, it's a normal mid-40s person that just gets out and gets in their car, and they left it parked there right in front of the door for 20 minutes. No, absolutely not. Get your car out of there and walk the 30 feet. That's
I
a bad
agree.
one.
This guy says, Marty, the only time you like to fight is when I'm there to step in to help you. That's what he said.
Andrew
But my
did
biggest
come in.
pet peeve is Michael Bublé. Do you like Michael Bublé?
Maybe a Christmas album, Michael Bublé, although I don't listen to him too much.
Yeah. So going back to the job now, because we want to know more about what are you looking forward to do more with your new position here with the Bills, Sabres, Bandits, and everything that you have to do?
I'm excited to get to know the city, get to know the fan base. It's a passionate fan base. I'm coming from Chicago, where I grew up watching sports, being in the SEC. There's a lot of passionate fans there, and that's what I gravitate towards. So I'm excited to be around that, to be around people who live and die for the Buffalo Sabres and the Bills.
Who's the most interesting person you've interviewed?
Ooh, that is a tough question. I've interviewed Alvin Kamara a few times, who is now on the Saints. He played at Tennessee for a couple years. He's an interesting dude. He goes by...
Interesting good or interesting bad?
Interesting good.
Okay.
He doesn't listen to people to try and craft his personality. He is who he is, and that's how he's going to be, and I appreciate that.
What do you think is the biggest difference that you're going to have to deal with being in a college atmosphere for so many years and now going to pros with the personalities, with the money that some of those guys are making? What's the biggest challenge you think it will be for you to be able to get the personality out of the people you interview?
I think one thing that you can do to get that personality out is to try and get to know the person right off the bat. So if you do your research beforehand, maybe you can pick up on one thing that you relate to the athlete or the coach, and you can bring that up right away, and then you're on a common ground, a level playing field. And I think that makes for an easier interview. They know you did your homework. So I think just trying to get to know the person that you're talking to, interviewing. And when you let them know, you want the best for them. You're not trying to do anything.
Not trying to screw them over. They want you have to get their trust, and then the same vice versa. They got to get your trust as well. So it's a big thing. Like we're former teammates of some of those guys. We played against some of those guys. So I think at times it may be a little bit easier. Somebody that's coming from the outside a little bit like you are. That's probably the biggest challenge for you, to just have them feel that they can be comfortable and not feel guarded by answering some of your questions, right?
Exactly.
Before we let you go, let's do a little or a quick impromptu kind of player profile. remember how we would do that, like favorite food, favorite music, all that stuff, like
Yeah.
favorite band. So when we would every year you come to training camp, you had to fill out a player profile.
Three
okay?
people you'd like to have dinner with.
Three people,
dead
you'd
or
like-
alive.
yeah, dead or alive. So here we go. We'll do like favorite. We'll start with. I'll try to remember the basics off the top. Favorite food. Okay,
Ribs.
favorite music.
Ribs?
Ribs.
Ribs.
Ribs. Okay,
I'm a
where do
big
you go?
ribs fan.
Okay, well, all right. Coming from Tennessee,
My dad's ribs.
your dad's ribs.
My dad's
Okay,
ribs.
is that his nickname too?
Yeah.
Ribs.
No,
His ribs.
no.
That'd be a
Call him
great
Ribs.
nickname. That'd be a great nickname. I'm really sick of nicknames in pro sports. How they just add the Y to the end of their name.
Yeah.
Ribs would be a good one. Okay, so your dad's ribs. So ribs. Favorite band.
Yeah.
That's too hard. There's too many.
Favorite music genre.
I am a big hip hop fan.
Okay.
Okay. So who are you Drake fan?
I like Drake, yeah.
So you're cheering for the Raptors then.
I was.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Favorite movie.
Favorite movie, Sandlot, easy.
Sandlot. Interesting. Okay. Favorite actor. Actress.
Favorite actor.
Both.
Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell. He
Really?
just turned 54 the other day. We had him in the birthday category. Kelly threw him in the important dates. What else? Marty. Actress. Favorite actress.
I don't know if I have a favorite actress.
It's hard
I'm
to
just a
answer
big
those
Will Ferrell
questions
fan.
because usually we have the piece of paper in front of us and we can take our time and be like, which one do I like? Like, what's my favorite movie? Now
Well,
you're
that's why
just
it's called putting her on the
spot.
spot, Marty. That's the whole point of this little operation.
Okay, you
Three
played-
people you want to have dinner with.
Michael Jordan, Walter Payton.
Anybody
good
else
produ-
Chicago?
two
Anybody
pretty
else
Yeah,
Chicago?
Some Chicago greats.
Some Chicago. Okay, you played softball. What's your next favorite sport to play?
To play, I would say basketball.
Okay.
Hobbies in the off season. That was a big one on our questionnaires.
Traveling, working out. Those are two things I enjoy doing.
Best place you've traveled to?
I just went to Africa, and that was really amazing.
Well, yeah, no kidding.
Went to Rwanda for 2 weeks with a group of student athletes from Tennessee to do a sports immersion and service trip. So
Okay. That's really
it was
cool.
a great experience.
All right. Well, that does it. Maddy Glab. She is the newest multimedia journalist with the Buffalo Bills and Buffalo
Oh, we
Sabres.
could ask your best Twitter account you follow.
Yeah, we can ask her that too still. We can still go. We can go for another 3 minutes if we want to, Marty.
No, I'm just.
Best Twitter follower you have.
Best Twitter follower.
Or that person you follow.
I
Whatever your
follow.
question was, Marty. What was your question?
Yeah, best like Twitter account that you follow.
Other than Marty Beer.
I'm just
mean,
looking
I
for
would
new
say you
people. I'm
guys.
just looking for new blood, new things to follow on my feed.
Okay. All
So,
right.
I
All right.
gave you a great Twitter account the other day. Movie premiere, unlimited.
Yes,
all
that is
those
a good
pictures?
one. Going back and
90s
seeing. There was
pictures?
an era of trench coats, wasn't there? Remember the one?
Double-breasted suits, long pants, trench coat. It was
three,
bad.
three pleats. I mean,
Oh.
all right. Okay, let's get at Maddie, thank you very much for coming on
Thank
the
you
show.
for
Good
having
luck
me
with your
on.
new venture, and we'll obviously be seeing a lot of you.
Definitely.
So you check her out. She's at Maddy Glab, at Mad Glab
Mad
on
Glab.
Twitter.
Twitter.
And you'll see her around the Bills and Sabres games doing the multimedia during the in-game,
Yep.
intermission,
Post-game.
post-game.
Everywhere.
Okay.
Nice.
We'll be back, Instigators, and a Michael Bublé fan, too. So we'll be right back,
don't know about
WGR
that.
550 and MSG.